fixtures. However, they haven't really looked like getting back into this game, certainly since Azpilicueta scored that goal for Chelsea 9 minutes before half-time. Kevin Friend just looks at his watch, blows his whistle, and we're back underway with West Ham United pumping the ball forward early with Noble, neither side making any substitutions during the interval. Here's Joao Mario for the Hammers, goal scorer last weekend in that important win against Southampton. Eden Hazard, though, who was the game's outstanding player in the first half, has been pulled back by Mark Noble, who's going to get the game's first yellow card for a cynical tug back on Hazard, who at times absolutely bamboozled the West Ham defence in the opening 45 minutes.
We're looking at West Ham's fixtures. They've got Man City, Man United at home. Tough to get points out of them, so really it comes down to the Stoke and Everton games, especially at home. Need to show more
by Hazard, who receives it back from Morata. It's Eden Hazard into the box, wanting to shoot. Back heel for Willian. Willian just wide. Again, it was clever awareness by Hazard, because he looked as if he'd lost the opportunity to find a teammate. Then he produced a back heel, and Willian controlled it, but then jabbed it just past the post.
Well, he's got the freedom of Stamford Bridge at the minute. Eden Hazard, he's floating here, there and everywhere. Very hard for West Ham to pick it up. Just wriggled free again in the box. A poor challenge from Mark Noble. He can't let him get through him like that. It's too easy. Went with a side foot there, Willian. Might have been better lacing it.
Yep. Yeah, he tried to guide it inside the post. It went the wrong side as far as West Ham are concerned. Let me run through the two lineups for you at Stamford Bridge, or I will in a minute, because West Ham are looking to attack themselves with Masuaku, who guides it onto his left foot, plays a square ball which is intended for Joao Mario. Noble gets it forward. Here's Arnautovic! And it's an effort on target for the Hammers at the other end, which is quite easily saved by Thibaut Courtois. That's the first time they brought the Chelsea goalkeeper into any kind of meaningful action.
Well, a nice move from Noble into Fernandes. Good set to Arnautovic, but a comfortable save. He's just looking to bend it in the far post, but didn't quite get the angle right.
End-to-end start to the first half. Here's Morata at the West Ham end, trying to get onto the end of a pass by Hazard, but it was swept away from him by Ogbonna. Quickly taken throw in by Chelsea. Hazard again hugging that touchline and finding Marcus Alonso. Back to Hazard again. He finds Antonio Rudiger square to N'Golo Kante. Kante finds the goal scorer, Cesar Azpilicueta. 3 goals for the season for him. And Cesc Fabregas forward to Morata. Kante, ball won't sit down for a shot, so he finds Willian. Willian out to Victor Moses. Chelsea patient in their build-up here around the edge of the West Ham 18-yard box. It's clipped in by Azpilicueta. It's only half cleared by Declan Rice. Alonso gets a flick on it. It goes out of play. Chelsea have Thibaut Courtois in goal. Cesar Azpilicueta, Gary Cahill and Antonio Rudiger, the back three. In front of them, Victor Moses, N'Golo Kante, Cesc Fabregas and Marcus Alonso. Up front, Willian, Alvaro Morata and the outstanding Eden Hazard. West Ham have Joe Hart in goal. Made one great save from Willian, although the subsequent corner led to the goal. Declan Rice, Angelo Ogbonna and Aaron Creswell are their defensive three. Then it's Pablo Zabaleta, Checo Kouyaté, Mark Noble and Artur Masuaku across midfield. And the front three had Milton Fernandes replacing the injured Mikel Antonio, Marco Arnautovic, who's had West Ham's only 2 chances of the game, and Joao Mario. Rudiger back to Courtois, who's made that save a moment ago from Arnautovic. Not a difficult one, but the only time he's really had to stretch himself so far. The returning goalkeeper back from a hamstring injury to replace Willy Caballero, who conceded those 3 against Tottenham Hotspur last weekend, as Chelsea look to get on winning ways. As we said, they haven't lost back-to-back games at home for a while. Here's Hazard, beautiful nutmeg to find his way through midfield and produce a pass out wide to Victor Moses. Moses comes in field, very good tackle though on him by Kouyaté, but Kouyaté then gives it away to Moses once more, who finds Willian down the right-hand side. Willian shielding it away from Creswell, looking for Hazard to try and work some more of that magic. He's found Fabregas. Fabregas forward to Hazard again, and Fabregas once more. He's trying to keep it in. Has he done so? I think he did. And he cut the ball back, but Joe Hart was able to pounce on it on the near post. Fabregas is one short of 50 Premier League goals, but he's been stuck on 49 for a considerable amount of time. He tried to turn provider there, just kept it in, but the goalkeeper was on hand at the foot of the near post. Here's Rudiger for Chelsea, finding Alonso. The ball has stayed in play. Fabregas, centre midfield, strokes it forward to Hazard. Lovely little flick and a 1-2 with Morata, and then a lovely ball out wide to Marcos Alonso. Willian is in the box. Willian can't get there. Morata is driven wide. Moses strikes it and strikes it wastefully over the crossbar because the goal was wide in front of him and he's overcooked it. He smashed it too high, but again, it was lovely play by Chelsea.
Brilliant break again. That man Hazard at the heart of everything. Great little dummy, little flick round the corner to Morata, then fed it out wide. But again, Morata just doesn't quite have that speed to get in the box. I think a quicker striker here would have been on the end of that, just in front of Willian, but Morata picking up at the back post, and then Moses blaze it over the bar.
He's never been a prolific scorer, Victor Moses. 3 goals in 32 appearances in all competitions this season. He did score in a 3-0 win against West Bromwich Albion back in February. That's Chelsea's 11th attempt on goal against 2 for West Ham. Chelsea have only got 2 of those on target.
Well, I tell you what, though, at the heart of everything is Eden Hazard. He's covered probably nearly every blade of grass. So he's here, there and everywhere, but he's in the pocket, just in front of the West Ham back 3. And behind their midfield, they're very hard to pick up. He's pulling the strings, no doubt, today.
Yeah, he's been absolutely terrific. It was a lovely little back heel again. It's just the speed of thought, isn't it, and the speed of interchange with other players. And on occasions, he and Morata have had quite a good understanding. I know you've been critical of some of Morata's play, but he has been linking quite well with Eden Hazard. Here's Mark Noble for West Ham United, who are grateful just to have the ball in the Chelsea half at the moment. Flicked on by Zabaleta. It's brushed off Marcos Alonso and gone away for a throw-in. Zabaleta is talking rather earnestly to somebody, not sure about what. Here's Noble for West Ham, a one-club man who was born a few streets away from their previous ground at Upton Park. He's lost it though, and suddenly Chelsea are 3 against 3. Morata, well, that's the wrong decision for me. You'll give a professional's opinion. You said, and rightly so, that he doesn't have a huge amount of pace. He had players either side, and he tried to go down the middle, and the West Ham defenders quite easily dispossessed him.
I think you've got to know your strengths. Try to go around them there. Didn't have the pace, as you say. Willian on one side, Eden Hazard on the other. Once you draw them in, then you've got to release it. Poor decision from Morata.
West Ham trying to come forward with Creswell, who finds Edmilson Fernandez, who hasn't really got into the game, has he, as the replacement for Michail Antonio, who unfortunately has joined that long West Ham injury list. Here's Joao Mario. Arnautovic trying to steer it back. Chelsea have won it back, and there's danger here for West Ham again, because the man on the ball is Eden Hazard. He's played a ball forward to Fabregas. Fabregas finds Willian. Willian with a bit of space to try and exploit. Again, driven wide by the attentions of Aaron Creswell, who's done well actually to prevent Willian getting a shot in. Moses with the cross, and Zabaleta with a clearing header. Drops for Kante. Not a very good touch by him. Forces Marcos Alonso to track back, but he's kept the ball in play. The Spanish left wing back, if you like. Fabregas to Willian. Willian about 20 yards from goal, but there are plenty of West Ham defenders back. Willian pushes it away to Moses. Moses to the byline, blocked by Creswell. Corner Chelsea.
Well, this pressure is just relenting on this West Ham goal. I feel it's going to creak at some point. Another set piece here. I wonder if they can switch on a little bit earlier. Didn't in the first half. It cost them dearly.
9 minutes gone, second half. Chelsea have a corner kick. You just suspect that a second Chelsea goal would probably kill the game off from West Ham's point of view. They have a corner here. It's going to be an outswinger from the Brazilian, and Morata hits it over. He got up well. He was only about 5 yards from the goal. He's shaking his head. Decent chance, and he's put it too high.
Well, it is for him. He's really adept in the air, isn't he? He's scored a lot of goals with his head this season. Majority of them actually got up and over it, but leaving the bar.
Should have done better, shouldn't he, really? I think he knows that.
Well, look, 4 goals in what, about 22 games? It's not enough, is it?
No. He's not scored in the last 2, but you're right, he's not been a sensation, let us say, since he arrived at Stamford Bridge. Here's Hazard. He's trying to find a pocket to exploit, but Rice has just hoofed it away. Meanwhile, West Ham have an injury problem to contend with. Just trying to see who it is on the deck. Is it Creswell who's wincing in pain? It is one of their 3 centre-halves, and we mentioned in the first half when Arnautovic got injured, the last thing West Ham need is another person knocking on the door of the treatment room.
I'm sure he'll be okay. Just like an aerial challenge, he came down, got up well with Willian. Might just be the landing.
Oh yeah, they've landed with Willian's heel almost tucked into the heel of his boot, which there's no intention whatsoever from Willian, but clearly is causing problems for Aaron Creswell, and there's West Ham United medical team attending to him at the moment. So a little break in proceedings as Creswell receives attention. West Ham have got some very inexperienced players on the bench out of necessity. Jordan Hugill, only 3 appearances this season, all of them as substitutes. Young Josh Cullen, who celebrated his birthday yesterday, 22. Grady Diangana, another youngster, just 19, and Josh Pass, who's 20. So there aren't a huge amount of available options if Creswell doesn't come back on. He's limping on that left ankle at the moment, and David Moyes is looking concerned as he strides across with that tracksuit top. I always wondered why on earth do managers have to have their initials on their tops? Everyone knows who they are. I just find it bizarre. Never quite understood it. It's something that's got to caught on. Yeah,
when it goes in the wash, I think.
Yeah, sort out who's who. Maybe that's right. Here's Azpilicueta finding Moses. Creswell is back on, but he's still hobbling slightly, and he's going to have to defend here as Willian tries to get forward. He's shadowed by Masuaku at the moment, tries to flick it past him, doesn't come off, and Creswell knocked the ball away with his left foot, but then hopped around a little bit. He's clearly still feeling it a bit. I don't think it's going to be an injury that'll stop him playing, but it might be one that takes a little while for him to shake off. Here's Joao Mario. The referee's blown his whistle. Chelsea are penalised, and the free kick is taken quickly, and Kouyaté finds Declan Rice. Declan Rice comes across halfway, still a teenager himself at 19, Rice. Here's Noble, more senior figure in the West Ham ranks. Good ball as well across to Masuaku, who heads it infield to Creswell, who's moving freely again now. Oh, that's a terrible ball. Here's Morata. He's got Willian to his left-hand side, and he picks him out this time. It's Willian on the edge of the penalty area, looking to get a shot in, and crossing instead for Morata, who taps home, but it's not going to count again. That's the second time Alvaro Morata has had a goal disallowed. Willian with the cross, Morata with the finish. Up went the flag near side, no goal.
Well, Masuaku with the misplaced pass straight to Morata, feeds it out wide to Willian. He's 1v1, lovely little step over, then he whips the ball across goal. Oh, I tell you what, that's
close.
That is close, but he might just be a couple of inches offside.
I think he's just off. We might get another angle on it. I think he's just off, in which case it's a very good decision by the official on this near side. But well, it's a let-off for West Ham, because at 2-0 you really couldn't see them getting back at all, could you? But at the moment, 1-0, you never know, do you? Set piece, mistake, whatever. Bit of inspiration, and they could be back in it, but 2-0 probably would be a step too far. Here is Morata finding Alonso, and N'Golo Kante is centre midfield, finding Cesc Fabregas. Fabregas just rolling it out to Cesar Azpilicueta. He finds Willian. Azpilicueta again. Fabregas is dispossessed by Arnautovic. Oh, that's brilliant skill by Arnautovic, who not only got the ball away from Willian, he did it with a drag back and a pirouette. But Chelsea have possession again with Eden Hazard into the box. Shoots into the midriff of Angelo Ogbonna, who was well placed to get himself in the way. And here are West Ham trying to counter-attack with Marco Arnautovic slipping a ball through. The defending by Antonio Rudiger, who showed awareness and strength to get in there ahead of Edmilson Fernandez. But here comes Arnautovic again. If anyone can get West Ham back into the game, you sense it's him, but he's lost it to Hazard now, and Willian comes forward, and this is back into the sort of breathless nature of the first half, but Willian has now given it away with a sloppy ball, which is intercepted by Zabaleta. Here's Mark Noble on halfway for West Ham United. Arnautovic is hobbling again and doesn't look entirely comfortable as he plays the ball out to Masuaku on this left-hand side. Can't get past Moses. Finds Mark Noble. Noble to Arnautovic with that blonde top to his hair. Nice swirling ball across to Pablo Zabaleta, but Marcus Alonso is there with the header to clear for Chelsea. We've had an hour. It's still a slender lead that Chelsea have on West Ham. We've had a few scares, but you sense that unless Chelsea get a second, there might be a way back through for the Hammers.
Well, you can see Arnautovic is cutting a frustrated figure, isn't he? He's dropping so deep now, almost forced back into his own half to win back possession and then build an attack almost on the edge of his area. Starved of the ball today. West Ham too passive. They're here for the taking, aren't they, really? Need to show a bit more urgency and invention.
Here's Mark Noble driving through midfield. Arnautovic back to Noble on halfway. Just veers it across towards Kouyaté with that bandage on his right arm. Noble forward to Arnautovic. Misplaced pass. Moses will regain possession for Chelsea and finding Golo Kante. Kante to Hazard. Hazard beating two defenders and driving through midfield. It's Eden Hazard finding Willian. Willian edge of the box trying to return it to Hazard. It wasn't a very good ball, and Joe Hart was able to slide out. But Hazard, how easily did he get past those two defenders around the halfway line?
Well, look, they don't have any pace in midfield. Kouyaté and Noble, you know, they just don't have the legs, the athleticism. Far too easy for Hazard just to skip in between them. Here's Cresswell, he's struggling.
Yeah, he's got a problem. He's gone back down, and nothing really caused him to go down. It was of his volition, and Stuart Pearce is now having a long conversation with the former Manchester United man, Patrice Evra.
I just wonder whether the West Ham fans would rather Stuart Pearce came on at left back.
That's a great shout. That's fantastic.
Well, look, he's not enamoured, is he, himself to the fans? He's had a great start to his West Ham career. It was a bit flippant, but
yeah, no, it's good. It's a fair point, well made, I think. He is going to come on, though, Evra. He didn't exactly leave his last club, Marseille, in a great manner, did he, after kicking a fan in the warm-up before that Champions League game.
Look, he's been a terrific player, but he hasn't started life at West Ham very well on the pitch, certainly.
He's 36 years of age, 5 titles with Manchester United, a Champions League, of course, as well. And he is coming on to replace Aaron Cresswell in West Ham, who are already without Mikel Antonio, Pedro Obiang, Andy Carroll, Winston Reid and Sam Byron. Have another injury problem to contend with.
I just wonder where he's going to play now, whether Masuaku will go as a left centre-half and Evra as a wing-back, because to me Evra is too small to play as a left-sided central defender. We'll have to see what he does here, how they shape up West Ham.
You wouldn't show him fancy his chances in a foot race with Hazard, would you, Evra? Anyway, he's on. And the first substitution of the afternoon is an enforced one for West Ham.
No, he is. He looks like he is playing the left-sided centre-half role.
Well, he didn't have an awful lot of choice, did he, David Moyes, really, when he looked at his bench? A lot of callow youngsters. Josh Pask is a defender, but only 20. Would have been asking a lot for him to step in.
Well, they had Reece Oxford, but they didn't want him.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, it's decisions that Moyes has made, really.
Yeah. Here's Morata finding Willian. Willian driving forward for Chelsea. West Ham have got plenty back. Willian's got Hazard just to his left-hand side. Here's Eden Hazard now, looking to get past Pablo Zabaleta. Gets into the box, turns Zabaleta inside out, but fair play to Declan Rice, the youngster. He did well and nicked the ball away from Eden Hazard. Kante's won it back for Chelsea in midfield. 65 minutes nearly on the clock at Stamford Bridge. Cesar Azpilicueta, scorer of the game's only goal so far, plays the ball forward with his right foot into the space behind Patrice Evra, who's being booed, I think possibly by the West Ham fans or the Chelsea fans as well. He's got history with them as well. He's probably not popular with either set of supporters from his Manchester United days. Here's João Mario finding Evra, and Noble back to the Portuguese Mario. West Ham slowing it down. Evra making only his third appearance for Chelsea since joining them after an inglorious exit from Olympique Marseille. And he's again on the ball. But he does have his experience, but chips it forward. Azpilicueta's there in front of Mario and easily makes the clearance. Fabregas plays it forward. Useful ball to Morata. Morata challenged by Ogbonna. Ogbonna wins the race and will look to clear left-footed, which he's done to find Evra, but it's come back to Moses. It hits him and West Ham have possession back with Mark Noble. Noble forward to Fernandes, who's got Zabaleta out wide. Socks half rolled down. Pablo Zabaleta, the Argentine international, now 33. So they've got a couple of aging defenders in their ranks at the moment, West Ham. Evra 36, Zabaleta 33. Here's 19-year-old Declan Rice finding Joe Hart, who's also a 30-something these days.
Well, that's one thing they've got to address, haven't they? The balance of the squad. There is none.
Here's Fabregas for Chelsea, just inside the West Ham half, finding Eden Hazard. Hazard driving forward, wants to shoot, still has it. Eventually sort of out-tricked himself, and Evra was able to sweep it away from him.
Well, he should have used Willian. He had him on the outside, pulled away really well, Willian.
Zabaleta for West Ham finds Edmilson Fernandes, the lanky Swiss player, still only 21 years old. Related to Gelson Fernandes, who you may remember was a Swiss international and once at Manchester City, of course. Here's N'Golo Kante for Chelsea. Bit of space in midfield for Cesc Fabregas, who manoeuvres his way across the halfway line. He's got Willian in front of him and Moses out wide. It's come out to Moses. Moses with the cross. Important header by Ogbonna, because Morata was looking to get his head on the end of that one. It's come out to Marcos Alonso, who finds Kante again. Kante to Hazard. Chelsea looking for a second goal, which would surely seal the points for them, but it's not come yet. Moses, far side, manoeuvres his way in field and finds Willian. Back to Fabregas. Fabregas sweeps it to Cahill, who finds Azpilicueta. It's all very patient from Chelsea at the moment as Rudiger finds Kante, who cleverly manoeuvres himself away from Edmilson Fernandes and finds Hazard. Hazard to Morata. Morata beaten to it by young Rice, whose header ends up back in Chelsea possession. Marcos Alonso with a crossfield ball towards Willian. Willian finds Moses. Moses shoots. It's a better effort than his last one, and it swirls off his left foot and goes just past the post.
Well, you can see his idea here, Moses. So I could cut the ball out, but then lost possession in his own box, trying to set the ball out wide. Just couldn't quite bend it back in time from Moses. But going back to West Ham, I think one of their best players has been Declan Rice.
Yes,
I think he's done really well today. Defended ever so well. He's been strong. He's intercepted well. He's read play well. He's been a shining light for them at the back. I think a lot of people thought maybe he was too young, but actually he's proved himself.
He certainly has. He could have been a Chelsea player, actually. He was a youth player at Stamford Bridge, and then he went to West Ham as a young man and has stayed there. It's his 26th appearance of the season. West Ham are going to make a change now, and it's Javier Hernandez Another former Manchester United man, alongside Patrice Evra, who comes on. He's got 7 goals in 29 previous appearances for West Ham this season. What he does have, Hernandez, is a very good scoring record against Chelsea, not for the Hammers, but for United. He scored 8 goals in 13 United appearances against Chelsea. If he can get one for West Ham today and earn them a point, he'll be perhaps more highly regarded than he seems to be under David Moyes. He doesn't tend to pick him very often, and of course managed him at United. Here's Arnautovic on halfway, can't control it. Willian gets it back to Victor Moses. 20 minutes left at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 1, West Ham United 0. Chelsea started the day just 2 points ahead of Arsenal in 5th place. Arsenal winning earlier against Southampton by 3 goals to 2. West Ham United looking to extricate themselves from relegation bother, but other than a couple of efforts on goal, 1 blocked and 1 saved from Arnautovic, have created very little to suggest they're going to get anything out of this one. Here's Alonso in the centre circle for Chelsea, veering away towards the left, where Hazard is looking to get past Pablo Zabaleta. It's Eden Hazard now confronted by Kouyaté, rolling the ball into Alonso. Alonso's got Fabregas just behind him, centre midfield. Fabregas finds Kante. Hazard still over on the far side. Here is Eden Hazard now. Zabaleta again is the man facing him. He's found Morata. Morata can't control. Noble is able to clear, and Joe Hart manages to smash the ball up towards halfway, where Javier Hernandez gets his first touch and finds Noble. He's the all-time record goal scorer for Mexico, Javier Hernandez, as well, having just reached 100 caps for them. Here's the ball in. It's a really, really poor one from Masuaku, who had a couple of claret and blue shirts to aim at, and just put his cross behind from a position where he wasn't really being greatly challenged. David Moyes is clapping his hands together, trying to encourage his West Ham players to produce something. In truth, they've been second best for virtually the whole of the game.
Well, when they do get into that position, as Masuaku did there, he has to put the ball into the box. He must do better. He's got to wrap his foot around it. Look, he has struggled to get past Victor Moses, but he has kind of tailed off this second half.
Courtois with the clearance, header by Rice. Up towards Mario, beaten in the air by Cahill. It drops for Hernandez. He's another one who's wearing gloves. Finding Zabaleta. He's made of sterner stuff with his short sleeves. Now Noble, centre midfield for West Ham. While it's 1-0, there's still hope for them. Header away by Cahill. It's not a good one. Arnautovic cuts it back to Hernandez, who scores! West Ham United a level. How big a goal could that be for them? Instant impact from the bench, from the Mexican. After Cahill's poor clearance, Arnautovic aware of the presence of Hernandez, and Hernandez swept it into the net. It's Chelsea 1, West Ham United 1.
Well, he's looking at the fans saying, look, that's what I do best. I'm the fox in the box. Great ball into the area. Really poor header by Cahill. Headed nowhere. Arnautovic is onto it like a flash. Cuts the ball back. Super strike from Hernandez. Just guides it into the near post with his right foot. Dreadful header though from Cahill, but there's Hernandez, so calm in the box. Wonderful finish, just wraps his foot around it. Uses the Chelsea players as they're sliding along the turf as a kind of decoy to wrap the ball around them. Brilliant, brilliant finish, and what a super sub. I mean, he's got that tag, hasn't he? But justifiably so.
Well, he's a poacher, isn't he? And he's a clinical finisher. You know, you don't become your nation's record goal scorer without the ability to convert chances. He showed it there. It was a lovely finish. And we mentioned it. 8 goals in 13 appearances against Chelsea for Manchester United. And he's just got what could be a massive goal for West Ham, who frankly haven't carved out many chances at all. But well, it's an inspired substitution. I'm sure David Moyes will be claiming that. You do wonder, though, why Hernandez doesn't start more often for West Ham, because his finishing is clearly still in pretty good nick. Well, 29 years of age now.
Well, I just feel that in terms of how they play, Moyes, he's very unsure about playing 2 up top, and if he does play Hernandez, You know, is he going to hold the ball and retain it? So I think he's stuck between a rock and a hard place, really. There's one thing he will get you, though, Hernandez, not his goals.
Yeah. First one since February for West Ham when he scored in a 2-0 win against Watford. Here's Zabaleta. Well, we did say 1-0, slender scoreline's pretty obvious, I suppose, but you know, if Chelsea has other teams, if you don't seal games off and take chances when you have that 1-0 lead, you're always vulnerable. And a substitution has worked for West Ham United. Owusu Fabregas, the relation, he's got a Z rather than an S, which differentiates him from the Chelsea midfielder. Watching it live on Super Sports 3, also listening on TalkSport Live from Ghana. Good commentary, keep it up, we'll do our best. And Austin Botwe listening from Ghana. Chicharito, where did that name go his time at United? He was called that. Why not at West Ham? Well, I'll tell you why, because in England we've always called him Javier Hernandez. Chicharito is a nickname that he wears on his shirt, but we do tend to... Oh, hang on, Morata's just put the ball wide. We do tend to use players' names rather than nicknames. I mean, for example, Kun Aguero hasn't really caught on in England, but he does have Chicharito on the back of his shirt. It means little P, and the reason he's called that, I think, is because his father had very green eyes. Now, the interesting thing about Hernandez is, of course, that his grandfather and his father were also Mexican internationals. We're watching a replay of his goal, David, and he swept it absolutely beautifully, giving Thibaut Courtois no chance.
It's a stunning finish, points to the heavens, but I think Chelsea are the ones that need a bit of help now. Cahill, though, with an awful header.
Well, West Ham, can they win this game? Zabaleta to Hernandez. A deflected shot by Arnautovic goes behind. You can hear a big roar from the visitors from East London who've come west, because West Ham have a corner with 14 minutes to go. And Chelsea, for the first time in the game, looked a little bit vulnerable.
Well, has the tide turned? We shall see.
Well, it'll be massive for West Ham if they can win this one. Declan Rice has gone up for the corner, so too has Ogbonna. It's going to be Joao Mario with an outswinger, and it's missed by just about everybody. Rice hooks it back out towards Ogbonna, who controls the falling ball, but Fabregas nips in to dispossess him and find Marcos Alonso. Chelsea are going to be furious if they don't win this game, because up to that point where Hernandez scored, and it was the 73rd minute, they dominated pretty much the whole match.
Well, they have, but they just haven't looked like finishing the game off. That's been their problem.
They're going to bring on Pedro in a minute.
Well, I'm surprised. I mean, look, I'd be thinking about possibly Giroud. They need a striker that's going to actually retain the ball, and even in the air, you know, Giroud is fantastic. He'll finish those shots. Oh, here we go, talking to Devil.
Oh, he's coming on as well, you're right. Just taking a swig from a bottle of water. So it's Giroud coming on for Alvaro Morata, and Pedro is replacing Victor Moses for Chelsea as they look to get themselves back in front and win the game. West Ham United, we said it at the beginning, will settle for a point, but at the moment you get the impression they want all three, as Arnautovic tries to convert and the ball goes behind. I think it might be another corner for West Ham. You just sense that West Ham are not settling for a point. They want all three. Well, and that's the right attitude.
That's right. So sloppy there, West Ham. I think it's a first touch actually from Pedro. Gave possession away into Arnautovic. As I said, as we both said at the start of the show, they have got a couple of players in their ranks, in Arnautovic, and João Mario can make things happen.
Well, they're getting plenty of support from the West Ham fans as this corner comes in. It's headed away by N'Golo Kante. Nodded back into the danger area by Noble, but then instantly away by Rudiger. Hazard tries to control, and it goes all the way back to Zabaleta, who's the last man back for the Hammers. Plays a huge ball forward, and Arnautovic seizing onto a misjudged header by Azpilicueta. Tries to find Hernandez with a low ball, and Courtois smothers, and suddenly Chelsea are on the back foot. But Fabregas is looking to put that right here, coming forward through midfield. It's been a thrilling game. Here's Willian, who can win it? Hazard with the dummy. Alonso with a shot, brilliant save by Joe Hart. Alonso, really, really smart turn and shot, and Hart with his fingertips got it over the bar. That's a really, really first-class save.
That is an incredible save. Hart could be the hero here. Alonso with a super strike. It's going into the top corner. He's got power, he's got pace. He gets across ever so well, just reaches up with his right arm. Super stop.
Here's the corner. It's taken short to Eden Hazard. This is not over yet by any means. Eden Hazard tackled and caught in possession on the edge of the box by Joao Mario. Tries to find Hernandez. Kante wins it back. It's absolutely frantic now. It's going to be a thrilling finale. It's like a cup tie, this one. Mark Noble in centre midfield for West Ham, who still believe they can win it. And Zabaleta is off down the left-hand side. Plays a cross in towards Hernandez. Doesn't reach him. Nodded away by Rudiger. Alonso forward to Hazard. Hazard goes down. He was clipped. It's a free kick to Chelsea. And here they come again with Fabregas. Fabulous finale to what's been an outstanding game. Giroud gets his first touch, but it's a crossfield header which is misplaced, and it'll be whacked upfield by Arthur Masuaku. 10 minutes to go, and you wouldn't like to call who might win this one. I wouldn't rule out another goal, that's for sure.
Well, it's pulsating end to end now. As you say, it's up for grabs, isn't it? The 3 points here.
Here comes Hazard. The initial effort is blocked, but he's got it again inside the West Ham box. Giroud, poor first touch, and that allows Declan Rice, who, as we've been saying, has had a terrific game for West Ham, to get in the way.
He's been excellent, Declan Rice. Better touch there from Giroud when he was in, 6 yards out, but Declan Rice seized on it, intercepted ever so well, covered across brilliantly.
We're going to get another West Ham substitution in just a moment, but the ball is back in play with Javier Hernandez, or Chicharito if you prefer, but he's gone down. He wants a free kick. He's not going to get one. And Alonso has it for Chelsea. In towards Hazard, edge of the box. Hazard trying to set up Kante, half cleared by Noble. He comes out to Pedro. Pedro low in. No one in the box for Chelsea, and Joe Hart is able to just drop down to his left and claim possession for the Hammers.
Well, it's a big moment, isn't it, this for West Ham? The last 10 minutes, 10 minutes, and Joe Hart. Really important save that was. Out of the top draw. Really was. He's been much maligned, hasn't he, Joe Hart, this season, but
he's made two outstanding saves today, hasn't he? The one in the first half from Willian, and that one even better from Alonso. It really was a first-class piece of goalkeeping. Diving to his left-hand side and just flipping the ball over the bar with his fingertips. Now then, West Ham have got more potential injury problems, although I'm not entirely sure how genuine Javier Hernandez's perceived agony is. Not very serious at all, would be my guess. He's walking away. He's won a free kick in a useful position. It's wide on the left-hand side of the pitch. It's beyond halfway through the Chelsea half. It's going to be Joao Mario, Kouyaté and Rice have gone up to at their height. Here's the delivery, and it's nodded away well by Cahill, whose error led to that West Ham equaliser. Kante now to Hazard. Hazard coming forward, showing a clean pair of heels to Rice, trying to find Pedro. Pedro's first touch is heavy, and it allowed Zabaleta to get across and clear. It's absolutely hell for leather, this game now. It really is. Here's Arnautovic for West Ham. Hernandez in lots of space on this near side. Looks to swirl it in with his right foot. And again, it's a poor cross, which Cahill is able to nod away. Arnautovic showing his displeasure at the quality or lack of it from that delivery. Here's Pedro for Chelsea, and that's a poor ball. You'd think the two Spaniards, Pedro and Alonso, would be on the same wavelength, but it was an awful ball by Pedro, and Alonso couldn't keep it in. 7 minutes to go, and it's nail-biting stuff.
Pedro has been so bad since he's come on. I think he's touched the ball 3 times. He's given it away every time.
Well, a point will keep West Ham United in 14th place. They would be 1 point behind Brighton and Hove Albion, but crucially 6 above Southampton, who've lost earlier today at Arsenal by 3-2. So this could be a huge, huge point, and when you're down in the relegation scrap, games against teams who are seen as the top 6, who are the top 6 in terms of the table, and the big 6 in terms of their punching weight in the Premier League. If you can get anything off these teams, it often is the odd little point like this that'll make the difference.
Well, look, you know, the point about the free hit, I guess, was that, you know, they're under no real pressure here, I think, West Ham, apart from Chelsea are not in great form. So you think, look, they are vulnerable. We could get something here. As it is, they're too passive first half, but they've been much, much better this second half, West Ham.
They've made the substitution. It's Joao Mario who's gone off. He's been replaced by Josh Cullen. Happy birthday, young man, for yesterday. Josh Cullen was 22 yesterday, born in Essex, his only club, West Ham, of course. He's made 4 previous appearances for the Hammers this season. He's a midfield player who had a loan spell at Bolton and was also on loan at Bradford City last season, but he's beginning to sneak his way into first-team contention at West Ham. And he's on for the final 5 minutes plus stoppage time, which could be hugely entertaining. Here's Fabregas. As he caught late, though, the referee lets play go on, and West Ham have it with Masuaku trying to find a way past Willian. Good ball by Masuaku to Arnautovic. Arnautovic tries to flick it past his man. He's done that. Arnautovic goes down. He's done a penalty kick. West Ham want one, and they're not going to get it. Kevin Friend waves play on, and Pedro counter-attacks for Chelsea. Enthralling stuff at the bridge. This is Fabregas. Now Hazard. Can he score? No. Hart is there, well placed to field the low shot. It's absolutely end-to-end drama now. Should West Ham have had a penalty? We will have a good look at this now, David.
Yes, they should have done. To me, N'Golo Kante hasn't got the ball. I think Arnautovic has done magnificent there to fashion a chance out of nothing. He takes the ball away from Kante. He just goes to ground. It's an absolute 100% penalty.
I agree. West Ham will be furious when they look back at this. Kante has got his heel onto Arnautovic's ankle. Arnautovic, to his credit, hasn't thrown himself. He's gone over through the momentum of the challenge, and wow,
it's a dreadful decision. Look, he's taken the ball away from Kante. He realises Kante is going to put his foot in and actually intercept, so he's taken it away. And maybe Friend felt, you know, actually that was the touch from Kante, but it wasn't. It was Arnautovic. That should have been a penalty.
Yeah, he's otherwise had a good game, Kevin Friend, but he's got that one wrong. Fabregas forward. Now Hazard. Chelsea going into the box. Hazard, though, running into trouble, and clearance by Ogbonna. Here's Cahill for Chelsea. It's been a terrific game. I know you're a former West Ham United player, David. I'm a complete neutral, but I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It's been hugely entertaining. Here's Fabregas. Kante. Touch to Fabregas. Doesn't run through. Giroud almost got in the way, because if it hadn't hit him, it might have run through to N'Golo Kante, who continued his run. At the other end, Kouyaté is driving. You have to play credit to these two teams. They have shown remarkable positive attitudes, both of them. Well, Hazard, sweeps it across to Willian. You can barely pause for breath. Willian's cross, Giroud's header! And again, Hart has clawed it away. Giroud holds his head. He was trying to knock it back across inside the far post, and Joe Hart, for the 3rd time today, makes a really good save.
Well, I was going to say they're like two boxers slugging it out, and that time it looked like Giroud had the knockout blow, but super stop from Hart again. When you need your goalkeeper to make save, he's done that.
Yes, he certainly has. And there's an injury here which has sort of disrupted the momentum a little bit. Chelsea are preparing to take a corner. And it's like Anthony Joshua Joseph Parker all over again, as you've made the analogy. It was a really good header by Giroud, because it was bouncing in, and that's another fingertip save from Joe Hart, who has been absolutely fantastic today. 2 minutes to go. West Ham United very close to a hugely significant point, but they face a corner. Willian takes it, nodded away by Arnautovic. We talked about the fact that he doesn't particularly enjoy defending. He's defending today, which says a lot about the way that he's been revitalised at West Ham after an unhappy time at Stoke. Alonso takes the free kick quickly. Willian plays the ball out to Eden Hazard. This one's by no means over yet. Eden Hazard, edge of the box, if anyone can, he can for Chelsea, drives it, blocked by Kouyaté, comes out to Azpilicueta, he finds Willian down the line towards Fabregas, but it's not a well-placed pass by the Brazilian, who shakes his head because he knows that a decent ball would have put Fabregas within sight of the byline, but it went over the byline, and another chance goes to Chelsea. Well, you would feel sorry for West Ham were they to lose this game to a late goal, because they should have had a penalty. We're going to get a substitution in a moment from Antonio Conte, but the referee hasn't spotted it at the moment, so Joe Hart will get the ball back into play. We're in the final minute of the 90 at Stamford Bridge. Away by Cahill. Header back in, finds Noble for West Ham, who's going backwards at the moment under pressure from a posse of Chelsea players. Arnautovic with a nice touch, but then Masuaku wasting the ball forward. It's gone straight into Antonio Rudiger. Chelsea fans now willing their team forward as they look to snatch a late winner. Alonso finds Pedro. Pedro trying to get past Zabaleta. Plays a low ball in towards Hazard. Hazard really well tackled by Noble. Hazard stayed down, nothing wrong with the challenge. Here's Hernandez, whose goal made it 1-1. Finding Kouyaté. Kouyaté can't in turn find Zabaleta, and the ball just squirts back towards Antonio Rudiger, who finds Cesar Azpilicueta. Here's Fabregas for Chelsea. 5 minutes have been added on. There's still time for either of these two teams to win this game. Here's Pedro for Chelsea, into the box, finding Hazard. Hazard with the cross in towards the danger area. Giroud can't get a header on the ball because there was a defender in the way. It's come back to Willian for Chelsea. Willian, edge of the box, trying to trick his way through. Gets out wide, plays a cross in, and it hits Arnautovic and goes behind for a corner. It's the Chelsea fans bellowing for a goal now.
Of course, relentless this game, end to end. It's West Ham though that can't get out. They've got to defend their box well here. They're creeping up, 4 minutes left. That's a big 4 minutes for their season here.
Certainly is. Oh, Zabaleta's gone over. I think Rudiger, did he mean to push him over? He's actually physically picked him up and he's patting him on the head. Kevin Friend wants to have a word with Rudiger, who's still protesting with Zabaleta. It's all a bit silly now. I think a few nerves are jangling, aren't they, in the last 4 minutes, as you say, of stoppage time. The referee's had a word with Zabaleta and Rudiger.
Well, look at here's Zabaleta trying to pick up Giroud. He's got a good foot in high advantage against him.
Here's the corner for Chelsea. Towering header away for West Ham. Fabregas will slide it back to Kante. Kante to Eden Hazard. Now Fabregas, near side, room and time to measure across. Gets it in towards the back stick. There's the header. It's a harmless one, really, from Cahill. Drops into the gloves of Joe Hart, who makes probably his most straightforward save of the entire match so far.
Well, there was a ball to the back post where Zabaleta is one of their smaller players like Evra. That's where they are weak. West Ham at the back post, defending balls in the box. Didn't make enough of it in the first half, particularly with Morata, but they have looked better in that regard with Giroud. He's superior to me in the air.
Here's the substitute Cullen getting his first touch. We've talked about how precious the point could be for West Ham. 2 points dropped for Chelsea, 10 points behind Tottenham Hotspur with 6 games left. Surely they are not going to be in the Champions League next season.
Well, also, they've got Liverpool, they've got one on them, haven't they?
Yeah. Here's Arnautovic. Oh, he's won a corner for West Ham. The block by Cahill. We've had 2.5 minutes of the 5 to be added on, and West Ham United have a corner.
Not for the first time today. Cahill's looked ruffled. Obviously, he's back in the side today instead of Christensen, but not the sort of commanding performance you'd expect from Cahill.
His error led to the goal. He'll need to be on his toes here because the Hammers have a corner kick. It's going to be taken by young Josh Cullen. Oh, a late birthday present it would be for him if he can set up a winning goal in stoppage time. He might go short, which is a bit disappointing for me, but on the other hand, I suppose you can forgive West Ham, who want to hang on to a point rather than try and get all 3, but they've been very positive up to that point.
Well, not if you take a corner like that. Mark Noble trying to take it cleverly and play for the corner, but actually put it straight into the goalkeeper's arms.
Here's Hazard at the other end. Finds Pedro. Pedro, edge of the box, tries to curl it, takes a deflection. Now Chelsea have a corner. Oh my goodness me, there are 1.5 minutes of stoppage time left. I would not want to be a West Ham United fan at this particular moment because their hearts are in their mouths.
Well, they need to, I was just saying, need to get their marking right here. Be nice and aggressive, man to man.
Fabregas with the corner, off the top of the head of Azpilicueta, drops for Pedro, gets it all wrong. Well, he had time to think about what he was going to do there, and he's taken a hurried shot at goal, which just sliced off the top of his left boot, and to the sheer joy of the West Ham United supporters, gone way over the crossbar. Last minute of the added on period. It's 1-1. It's been a fantastic game at Stamford Bridge, and Joe Hart is about to get the ball back into play. West Ham fans are singing. It'll be a massive point for them if they hang on for these last few seconds. Hart's put it straight out of play. It might be time for Chelsea to get the ball back in and push it forward somehow. It's Willian, but he's given it away. Azpilicueta wins it back. Still no whistle from Kevin Friend. It's Kante, Pedro and Hazard, but Pedro can't pick up the return ball, and Kouyaté tidies up. Zabaleta, far side for West Ham United, gets the ball forward. It's an aimless one, but they'll settle for that. It's in the gloves of Courtois, who bowls it underarm to Azpilicueta, whose goal in the first half cancelled out by the strike in the second by Javier Hernandez. Here's N'Golo Kante. Is there still time for Chelsea? Comes off Arnautovic. The referee blows his whistle. The Chelsea fans are unhappy, but the West Ham supporters are delighted. It's a big